She walked in calm, not because life had been kind to her, but because she had learned how to carry pain quietly. Judith had no father, no mother, no brothers and sisters, just herself, and the hope that one day life would respond to her effort. She was poor but decent, an orphan trying to survive with dignity. She worked small jobs, saved little coins, and believed that honesty still meant something. But her life changed when she met Benson. Benson came from a wealthy family. He dressed well, spoke gently, listened and talked in a way that made her feel important. At first, she resisted him. One evening, with fear in her voice, she told him the truth. "I have no one," she said, "no family to protect me, no home to run to." She looked at him and whispered, "If you are not real, please don't deceive me." He held her hands. He promised her love. He spoke of marriage, of building a future together. For the first time in her life, she allowed herself to believe someone. But life doesn't always provide what it promised. She got the greatest shock of her life one evening. She became pregnant, and everything she trusted collapsed. When she went to him, trembling, he stepped back, shouted, and denied her. He said he had never known her. "How can I be involved with someone like you?" he said. People gathered. Voices rose. No one listened to her story. No one cared about her tears. They said she was lying, that she wanted to force herself into a rich man's life to escape poverty. She tried to speak, tried to explain, but words are weak when power has already decided the truth. She went home alone that day. Her body was tired, her heart was shattered, her future felt heavy, and she was pregnant. A friend came to see her and spoke gently, but the words were sharp. "You can't even take care of yourself," the friend said. "How will you take care of a child?" That night, she cried until sleep refused to come. She held her stomach and apologized to the life inside her for a world that had already rejected them. She thought about ending it, but she couldn't. The child was innocent. Tears on her face, she made a decision. She would keep the baby. And in her pain, she made another promise. She would never forgive him. The years that followed were hard. She worked when she was tired. She sold small things, started small businesses, lost money, started again. Some days she felt strong. Some days she cried in silence, but she kept going. Slowly, life changed. Not suddenly, not magically, but steadily. She stopped waiting for apologies, stopped explaining her past, stopped blaming herself, stopped seeing herself as broken. She healed. Years later, a bus had been on the road for hours. Dust hung in the air. Voices were low. Everyone was tired. When the driver stopped by the roadside for passengers to buy food and water, Benson stepped down. He just wanted a bottle of water, nothing more. He walked toward a small roadside shop, and then he stopped. Behind the wooden counter stood a woman, older than he remembered, but unmistakable. It was her. For a moment, he thought his eyes were lying to him, but they weren't. She looked up. Their eyes met, and time slowed. Neither of them spoke at first. Years collapsed into seconds. Finally, she asked calmly, "Sir, what do you want?" Her voice was steady, too steady. "Water," he whispered. As she handed him the bottle, his hands shook. "Judith, is this you?" he asked. She looked at him for a long moment, then sighed. They stood there, the noise of the road fading behind them. At that moment, his eyes filled. His body weakened. Tears rolled down his face. "I loved you," he said, crying openly. "God knows I loved you from the bottom of my heart." People nearby began to notice, but neither of them cared. "My family," he continued, his voice breaking. "They said love and happiness were not enough. They said class mattered more. They threatened to disown me if I accepted the pregnancy," he said. "I was afraid. I was weak." He wiped his face. "I left them years ago," he said. "I walked away from that life. I've been searching for you ever since. I wanted to find you in your world," he said softly, "because that's where I found peace. That's where I found love." He looked at her and fell to his knees. "Please," he said, crying, "forgive me." The road was silent now. She looked at him, and suddenly, everything she had buried came rushing back. "Forgive you?" she shouted, tears pouring down her face. "Do you know what I went through because of you?" She spoke through sobs. "I carried shame that wasn't mine. I carried pain you ran from. I raised a child with empty hands and a full heart. You slept in peace," she said, "while I begged God for strength not to break." Her words cut deep. He wept like a child. Just then, a young boy walked toward the shop. Clean, bright-eyed, beautiful. He dropped his school bag and smiled. "Mommy, good afternoon," he said. Then he turned politely. "Good afternoon, Uncle." Benson froze. The boy looked exactly like him. Who is he?" Benson asked, his voice barely there. She looked at the boy with love. "His name is Toby," she said. "He is the only reason I survived." She paused. "The reason I forgave you a long time ago." The man covered his mouth. His knees gave way again. "And now," she said, tears flowing freely, "I forgive you again." They held each other, right there by the roadside. Two broken hearts finally speaking the same language. They cried, not for what was lost, but for what had been carried and survived. The bus driver called out, but neither of them moved. Some wounds take years to heal. Some meetings take years to arrive. But in the quiet moments between pain and forgiveness, life reminds us that strength is often born in silence, and love sometimes waits for the right time to return. Subscribe to Silent Voices of the Streets for more stories that touch the heart and heal the silent wounds of the streets.